Chapter 4, The Kybalion Revealed.
Like all good storytellers, he left them waiting just a little longer in anticipation of what he had to say. He then quietly said,
"As you listen to this amazing story of life, close your eyes and picture the vision that my words conjure up in your minds. Not only then will you hear and see my words, but you will feel them within your deepest being to be the truth."
He then continued,
"Long before the days of Moses in the earliest times of ancient Egypt, there lived a scribe of the gods, a master of masters, known as Hermes Trismegistus. He was the founder of astrology, the discoverer of alchemy, and the father of occult wisdom, which is the knowledge of the hidden and paranormal. Egypt, the home of the pyramids and the Sphinx, is proclaimed throughout history as the birthplace of the hidden wisdom and mystic teachings that were taught from the great adepts and masters of that time, but none were greater than Hermes Trismegistus."
He paused for a moment and was pleased to see that all their eyes were closed as they listened intently to his story.
Many years after his passing from his last incarnation on earth, which tradition says he lived in the flesh for 300 years, the Egyptians made him one of their gods called Thoth. Some years later, he was also made a god by the people of ancient Greece, calling him Hermes, the god of wisdom. His ancient title Trismegistus meant the thrice great, the great great, and the greatest great, and his name was revered in all the ancient lands. The title thrice greatest was given to him because he was considered the greatest of all philosophers, the greatest of all priests, and the greatest of all kings. He was a man of great wisdom, if indeed he was a man.
Pausing just for a second to let this sink in before continuing,
Hermes miraculously revealed to humankind medicine and chemistry, law and astrology, music and magic, philosophy and geography, and also mathematics and geometry. He was a prolific author of books, with scholars believing he wrote thousands, and as his fame spread, his people came to know him as the messenger of the gods. Learned beings from all lands sat at his feet, while he revealed the master key of life. That became the secret doctrine of Hermetic teachings that spread through many ancient countries that sought his knowledge. Students of comparative religions are still able to perceive the influence of these teachings in every religion that is worthy, whether it be a dead religion or one that is still alive in our modern times. His life work was to plant the great seed of truth rather than establish a philosophy that would dominate the world's thoughts, because he knew that there were so few who were ready or would recognize it as the truth. He preferred that his teachings were passed down to just a few initiates from different lands within each generation, so that the principles of truth remained pure and unaltered. Throughout history, initiates have kept alive the sacred flame of the Hermetic teachings, passing the truth from lip to ear to only those who were ready to receive it. Always aware to keep the secret doctrine hermetically sealed.
"You said hermetically sealed,"
said Lotus.
"Did that term come from protecting the Hermetic teachings?"
"Yes,"
he replied.
"This truth was guarded because Hermes had already seen into the future of how the teachings of great masters throughout time would all have their teachings misinterpreted in some ways. Instead of these teachings empowering people and freeing their lives with joy, they would be bound with laws and fear of retribution. The ancient teachers warned that the Hermetic secret doctrine should never crystallize into a creed, whereby teachers become priests, who darkened or weighed down the pureness of this philosophy with theology. This was the fate of other ancient occults of deep mystical understanding, whose truths had been distorted only to eventually be forgotten or mocked. However, just over 100 years ago, the Hermetic teachings became published in a little-known book called the Kybalion that was written anonymously by 3 initiates who were aware that this sacred and ancient knowledge could one day be lost. They were also still very mindful that this knowledge should never be misused, so it was never publicized in any way, because they did not seek compensation from the knowledge they had imparted. Instead, they used the very principles explained within to ensure that this precious little book only fell in the hands of those who were ready.
Storyteller then looked at them and explained with a passionate voice,
"I had been feeling for some time a calling to write a book that would in some way help raise the consciousness of the world to understand the damage we were inflicting on our humanity and the earth. I knew it was imperative I should write it quickly, because our planet also faces the real prospect of self-annihilation from a nuclear war as well, which will only be avoided if we come to a new understanding of who we are and who we want to be. I wasn't sure where to start, so I asked for guidance, as I knew that this book had to capture the imagination. as well as convey a deep truth and message of hope for people of all faiths, cultures, and nationalities. It was then that I was thankfully shown the Kybalion, and the following words I heard in my heart. Where fall the footsteps of the Master, the ears of those ready for his teaching open wide. Then I heard with my mind, when the ears of the student are ready to hear, then cometh the lips to fill them with wisdom, and finally with my soul. The lips of wisdom are closed, except to the ears of understanding. I read it, and read it again, and I knew it was the truth, the answer, the key to life that all religions declared that they possessed, but in so many ways only carried a fragment of the truth. It was all that I had been searching for my entire life and in my previous lifetimes, and now it had been given to me. The Kybalion was mind-opening, and I asked myself, could the world now be ready for this revelation? Was it the time? The answer that I received was to study the trilogy of books, Conversations with God, using my spirit and knowledge that I now possessed, and all would be revealed. I read those 3 inspirational books with absolute joy, and was then blessed with perfect understanding, because the highest being of all spoke to me at my deepest level, and as promised, all was revealed.
Storyteller was silent for a moment, and they all opened their eyes and looked at him as he began to speak.
I can only say to you all now, that if you join me on this journey, you will help open up the spirits of people to the absolute joy of life, free them from the burden of guilt or shame, banish the fear of judgment that imprisons their lives, and help them discover the wonderful and divine truth about the greatest game of all.
Oh my goodness.
Cried out Lotus.
You can count me in.
Me too, were the unanimous calls from all of them, as they had now come to trust and understand Storyteller. Arif looked at the team and said affectionately,
He has only just started, my friends. He has only just begun.